Sorry, I just threw up a little bit looking at that thing you're holding.
Yes.
We need 2 people with ranged guns.
No, we need 4 people with the same firearm. That way, instead of covering our weaknesses, we'll just have a big ol' strength!
It's logic like that that led to the Bradley. God, what a nightmare of a vehicle that thing is. At least the modern ones kind of work.
Have you ridden in one?
Yeah. I had to know how to fix the main gun on one.
I didn't.
Because tell me how that qualifies as small arms. That's what I tell people. My job while I was in the military was to fix everything from 9mm pistols to 155mm howitzers. And that included the M242 chain gun on a Bradley.
That's a lot of millimeters to fix.
Muchos millimeters. We just gotta...
Check out my Pancor Jackhammer! Yeah! I'm gonna drill you. I want to press forward, but we got some narrow chokes here. Cover me, I'm reloading! And my weapon's jammed! And also parts of it are broken, and I can't find replacements!
Yeah, and you have to disassemble 90% of your gun to reload it. I don't know about that. I've got my trusty Gyrojet pistol. It's a rocket gun.
A rocket gun.
It's a rocket gun.
Uh-huh.
It fires little tiny rockets.
Does it fire high ordnance little tiny rockets?
No, there is just a little tiny solid rocket.
Tiny little BBs coming out of that thing?
It's a 50 cal. So no, it's not tiny.
Okay. That cannot fire a 50 cal. Look at that thing. How many of these have you fired in your life?
I've not fired a single one, ever.
Are they real guns?
Yeah, they're real. They were sold commercially on the market. They just failed to take off, so to speak.
Are they banned under U.S. regulations? Seeing
Nope.
as how it's a frickin' rocket?
Nope, you can totally own one.
Oh, probably because it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, not really. They weren't that great. I mean, basically, if I were to shoot this Gyrojet at you from this distance, it probably would do nothing to you. It would feel like getting shot with a paintball.
You said 50 cal, and that raised my expectations.
Yeah, see, look, check this out.
Did you fire that thing?
Yeah, I did. I just shot it at you.
I thought a mosquito bit me.
I know, right?
Huh.
But if you're like 20 meters away and I shoot this at you, then it's really gonna hurt. Because then the rocket will have reached its terminal speed, which is enough to kill you.
How much explosive is packed in there?
None. It's just a little tiny solid rocket.
I have doubts as to the efficacy of this weapon.
I mean, it was intended as a commercial thing. It was never really intended to be used as like a military weapon. But because there were so few of them made and they're highly valued as collector items, people seem to think it has this mythical status, that it's a god-killing gun, but it really isn't.
So it's just like the Pancor Jackhammer, only you like this for some reason.
I think it's kind of neat.
I've never heard of this gun before. I seriously doubt it exists. But here we are, the Star Vegas warehouse.
Oh, it exists. Ow, ow, ow!
Look at me using an actual caliber of weapon! It's actually doing damage!
Yeah, this gun is not great. It's not great. Turns out it's better for target shooting.
You're basically firing at 22, that's how effective it is.
Yeah, it's not super great. That is somewhat accurate that the officer is the only one with a submachine gun. Everybody else had like semi-auto rifles.
Oh.
Even though technically they should have had bolt actions. But whatever.
Are you saying that's how the original Nazis had the leadership structure?
Every squad had a machine gun, a rifleman, and then usually the squad leader had a submachine gun. And the entire way their squad level tactics worked was to set up the machine gun in a position and then use the squad to funnel enemy soldiers into the machine gun's line of fire.
Mm-hmm.
So usually the squad leader was the only one with a submachine gun.
I'm glad they did the research for this mod. It's impressive.
I find that kind of interesting that they actually did that. Behold, the PB9!
Yes, the Peanut Butter 69.
Why was it so loud? It shouldn't be. It's an integrally suppressed Makarov pistol.
A Makarov.
So you remember how I found the Makarov earlier?
Yeah.
This is an integrally suppressed one.
It looks like a flare gun. The barrel is huge.
Well, yeah, it's because it's a suppressor.
Oh, is that what that's supposed to be?
Yeah, the thing on the end is a giant suppressor. And you'll notice that the sights, if you zoom in on them, you got a dot on the rear sight and a dot on the front one, and you would just put radium paint on them so you could use it at nighttime. It's supposed to be real quiet. I don't know why this one is so much louder.
The suppressor part ain't working.
Anyway, it's an interesting little gun. It's really cool. I've always wanted one, and I think the reason I want one is because I can't have one.
Not legally sold.
Because they're Russian, and
Oh.
also, by all reports, they're not exactly great.
I wouldn't have assumed as much. I've not really heard of the gun. I don't know why you were so excited to get that in the first place, but...
Well, because I've always wanted one. See, look at it!
Despite the fact that it's...
Oh, you know what? I wonder if maybe it just doesn't have the suppressor on the end yet. I mean, technically, yes, it's integrally suppressed, but not really, because there might need to be more suppressor.
Maybe we need to find a mod for it.
The PB is an interesting gun, because it pretty much was a design principle of, we have a Makarov, and we want a Makarov that'll be real quiet. What can we do? So they just hacked the whole front of the slide off. I'm not even joking. They literally just, on the original ones, they just took a Makarov slide, and then the buzzsaw just went, eep, and just cut the slide off, and then made a new barrel for it.
Okay.
The fuck is that?
It's my new weapon.
What the actual shit fuck?
It's a grenade launcher. Would you like to try it? Or you would like to see it in action?
That is a cursed gun.
I think it's beautiful.
I think it's an abomination unto God.
It's a beautiful little snowflake.
I think it's an abomination unto John Moses Browning.
Okay.
Who, as we all know, is firearms god. Where's my grenade launcher? Where's my grenade launcher?
Oh, sorry, I upgraded it.
Are you that's my grenade launcher?
Yeah, right here. You want it back, okay?
You took my grenade launcher and you ruined it!
You can have
You
it.
turned it into a monster!
Oh, you haven't given it a chance. It's still
You
fine.
ruined it!
It's good still. You gotta try it out.
The other one got away now because I was so... You ruined my perfect... Betsy! My grenade launcher, Betsy, is dead!
We've just established that her name was Betsy.
The fuck even is this thing? My god, it's awful!
Give it a chance.
Well, I can't, it's broken!
Fix it, then give it a chance. Actually, that's when I picked up. Yours is fine.
Where's mine?
It's in storage.
Why didn't you tell me before I started shooting you then?
Because I've developed a fetish for being shot.
Ew.
Thanks for fulfilling my every need, Zach.
Oh, they came back!
Hooray! Return to the scene of the crime that we committed.
I thought you actually ripped apart my grenade launcher and slapped the barrel onto the back of an M79 receiver.
And you were unhappy with that idea?
Yeah, I was very unhappy with that. Oh my god, this thing's a massive piece of crap.
Is it? What? It's just a hodgepodge of parts, huh?
Yes, it's just a bunch of parts that were slapped together haphazardly to make a thing that looks kind of like a gun.
That's how the Russians make their weapons, right? They slap parts together and call it good.
No, they actually do a decent job building stuff. I immediately do not want this weapon anymore. Come on. 4! I'm golfing!
Looks like someone brought a sword to a sign fight.
I made golf Whoa! Bear's leg! Oh! Yes, bear's leg!
Is it a shotgun of sorts?
It's a 44 Magnum, so it's the same thing as like the cowboy gun, except that it's real tiny. It's basically a Winchester 1892 lever action rifle that's been cut way down, so it's just a pistol now.
Wouldn't that give it a huge amount of recoil?
Nah, it's still not bad.
Why not?
Have you ever fired like a lever action in a pistol caliber?
I think if you cut the barrel, it makes the recoil worse, doesn't it?
Theoretically, but there's still a decent amount of weight to it, so the recoil is actually not bad.
Okay.
Are you foolish enough to believe that he will keep his word after witnessing how he treats those who incur his wrath?
Is that lady back there holding a P90?
Junkies over at Vault.
Oh, shit,
I say
son! Hang on, hold still.
Come on!
No!
I don't know why you even want the P90 anyway. Ooh, it's an ambidextrous assault rifle.
It's not an assault rifle, it's a personal defense weapon! Oh, God, I'm not using this.
You said you wanted it!
No.
Yes, those were your words. I hope you die so I can have your gun.
No, I wanted the P90.
You said you also wanted this gun.
I never said that.
Jesus.
I never once said those words. What is this?
It's a revolver.
No, it's in 4570 government.
Okay.
You don't want a revolver in 4570. That's stupid.
What's your preferred revolver caliber?
Anything under 4570. Or 500 Smith & Wesson, because 500 Smith & Wesson is stupid. Never buy a gun in 500 Smith & Wesson.
So 4569, nice. What don't you like about it? The fact that it's too powerful?
The fact that it weighs 7.5 pounds. Revolvers should not weigh 7.5 pounds. They also shouldn't be in 4570.
You know, people put a lot of effort into some of these weapons, just like they put a lot of effort into the mods.
Oh yeah, they put a whole lot of effort through it. I can see through a hole in the rear sight that isn't the rear sight. I'm looking through the frame of the gun right now.
Well, Zach, why don't you use the gun that you made? Oh, that's right, you don't make mods. You just complain about...
Hey, this weapon's pretty effective.
Yeah, told ya.
Yeah, if you build a revolver that's strong enough to handle 4570, it ends up weighing like 7 pounds, and it's called a Magnum Research BFR, which stands for Big Frame Revolver. If they were gonna call it that, they should have just committed and called it the Big Fucking Revolver.
But it's... Who's to say it's not a powerful weapon, though?
I'm sure it is a powerful weapon. It's also stupid. 500 Smith & Wesson is a powerful weapon, and guess what? It's stupid.
All right.
Making a Desert Eagle and 50 Action Express is powerful and stupid. It serves no purpose. There's no reason to have a Desert Eagle and 50 AE.
You just... It fires really fast and is kind of loud and intimidating.
He took an AR-15 lower receiver and I put like the recoil system in the top of it. This is just an AR-15 lower receiver. How does it even shoot bullets?
What, you don't think it works?
No!
Try pulling the trigger, see if it works. Hey, it works!
So dumb. I hate it. This weapon is good, I just wish it didn't look so stupid.
You gotta stop hating on things just because they're unique.
I don't like how it looks. It's boring to me.
Oh, you need a paint job for it, huh? We can pimp out your gun. Welcome to Zach's Pimp My Gun Show.
Ugh. Yeah, get him, Willow. What the f-
Yeah, get ready to die, punks.
Mike, what in the God's name is that thing?
It's my gun.
That is so stupid!
You know how you always say, the longer the barrel, the more accurate your shots?
Yes, yeah,
So
technically.
I'm never gonna miss now!
I think it's gonna be really hard to get a consistent sight picture with that thing. Don't-
Yes?
You're flagging me with that.
No, I'm not. I'm shooting
you-
past you.
Also, the bullets are sticking. What is going on with that thing?
It's the best gun.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna put a bayonet on it. That way I never even have to get close to the enemy.
He's got this goofy Smith & Wesson 38 special revolver that is so frickin' broken in every conceivable way. Hope has turned her back on me. Let's go. I'm gonna get out of the way of that.
Whoop, what the hell? What? Stairs here. Alright.
Can you stop? Can you stop pointing that thing at me?
Am I invading your personal space a little bit? What is that?
Oh, is that a VSS Vintorez?
How the hell have you let them
Hold,
get
please.
this far?
Woohoo! I have an integrally suppressed submachine gun now. Whoa!
Careful, the safety railing's missing there.
Safety railings, please.
The VSS Vintorez, huh?
Yeah, it's in 9x39.
What makes it so cool?
Well, the original VSS Vintorez is technically a semi-auto rifle, but it's,
The VSS Vintorez sounds like the name of a ship cruiser.
So the VSS Vintorez is a Russian gun that's in 9x39, which is a really, really heavy bullet. They basically took a 9mm round and jammed it in the end of an AK-47 bullet.
Normally that doesn't work well.
It's real heavy. It's...
You like that?
Ow! 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 Ow!
You like that?
It's somewhat slow, but it's subsonic, so it hits like a truck.
When you say subsonic, I think silenced weapon.
Yes, it is supposed to be a suppressed gun.
But it still hits like a truck?
Yes, because it's a really heavy bullet. Yeah, this is an actual Colt M4A1. What the hell? Oh man, this thing's dope. I want to use this now.
Alright.
I need a bunch of 5.56 rounds. The rear sight on the M4 has like two settings. One is the like 2 to 600
Okay,
setting.
I know that. That's the only weapon I'm familiar with, so I do know that. You don't need to educate me on this particular weapon. I am very familiar with it.
Uh-huh, I bet.
It's the only weapon I'm familiar... What do you mean, you bet? It's the only weapon I'm familiar with!
technically, all of the 5.56 green tip is light armor penetrating, but whatever. This is the M4A1.
Yeah, so it's the replacement for the M16A4, which itself was a replacement for the M16A2.
Kind of. The M16A4 and the Colt M4A1 both were used by the same organizations at about the same time, so... For the Marines, it was a replacement for the M16A4, but
Yes.
for the Army, they would use the M16A4 or the Colt M4A1.
Chronologically, that is how the upgrade went.
That is how the upgrade went for the Marines, yes. But for the Army, it was like a replacement for the M16A2.
Who cares about the Army? They suck.
Who cares about the Marines? They suck. Marines are always out of money because they gotta go ask Daddy Navy for more money.
Unlike the Army, which loves to piss away money unnecessarily.
Yeah, they do. The difference between the M4 and M4A1 is that the M4 is 3-round burst, whereas the M4A1 is full auto and has a heavy barrel.
What do you call the M4 that's not A1 to distinguish it from the other M4 that isn't A1?
You just call it an M4.
That's confusing. You should call it the M4A0.
No, you just call it the M4.
You could, but that might be confusing to
That
people.
isn't confusing.
It is to people who aren't frequent with M4 parlance.
Your point is null and void.
And that's why I'm calling it the M4A0.
You can do that if you want to, but nobody else is gonna know what you're talking about. I didn't see a P90. Oh god, there's a Oh, and it's only 38 cap. Fucking Tokarev.
I take it a Tokarev is not a good gun.
It's a fucking piece of trash is what it is.
Buy it. Show me.
All right.
Buy those wrenches too, because it sounds like we might need to fix it. Yeah?
Behold the Tokarev. Yeah, it's pretty shit.
That seems decent enough.
The Tokarev is pretty much a copy of a Colt 1911, only in like the worst ways possible. The Tokarev TT-33 is to the Colt 1911 what an Arbani suit is to an Armani suit. You see that little C-clip on the right-hand side of it right there?
On the barrel?
No, underneath the slide, this little C-clip right there. That holds the pins in place.
That holds the weapon together?
Yeah, pretty much. And sometimes when you're shooting this, that clip will come off, and then the gun will go blat and just fall apart. It's kind of a piece of junk. Originally, it was in 7.62x25, which is just an absolute zipper of a cartridge. They're such hot pieces of garbage.
Let's murder the next man with it.
I learned how to like disassemble and repair the Tokarev TT-33. The advice we generally got was, yeah, don't worry about repairing it, just throw it out, you'll find another one.
Really?
I feel like I could do more damage if I smacked someone in the head with a graphing calculator than I could by shooting at them with a high point.
Those things are heavy.
You know how normally on a gun, if I want to load around on this thing, I gotta take the mag out, put the mag in, and then pull the slide back like this? A high point, you can just hold the high point straight up in the air, and then rip your arm back real fast, and that'll chamber around into it.
That's not safe.
No, it really isn't. But if you need a gun, and you need it real cheap, you can get a high point for 120 bucks.
Or just pick up a rock for all the effectiveness.
Hey, fellow, what?
Oh, god damn it. Just take my guns.
Here, have the Tokarev.
Hopefully he forgets that I gave it to him and just keeps it. I think he's a frickin' monkey's paw. Yep, hunting a revolver with a scope and 4570 government. I have no desire to use this.
Wait, really? Because it's a hunting revolver and a powerful caliber?
I don't want to use scoped weapons.
Wait, not even for long-distance sniping?
This isn't a long-distance sniper rifle, it's a revolver.
So you do want to use scopes, just not on your revolver.
Where did I even find a speed loader in 4570?
That's the thing you're thinking about.
Where did I even find a speed loader in 4570 for this thing? That makes no sense. You know, I actually just realized something. The charging handle on this AUG moves when I shoot it. The AUG has a non-reciprocating charging handle.
Oh, that's a glitch. It's an error.
It's not a glitch, it's just whoever did this didn't know that the AUG did that.
Not everybody knows everything about guns, Zach.
I don't know everything about guns.
You sure?
Yeah.
You could fool some people.
I do not know everything about guns. There's a lot of stuff I don't know.
Like...
How am I gonna tell you about what I don't know?
What? Well, tell me something you don't know about this Steyr Aug. You probably don't know the year it was created.
I know the year it entered service.
Yeah, exactly.
1977.
Oh, okay. Then you probably don't know it's a 5.56.
Yes, I do.
Oh, then you probably don't know about the The A1 variant.
This one has a scope that's permanently part of the receiver assembly. The A1 variant, the scope can actually come off. Actually, technically, the one I own is a Steyr Aug A3M1.
Okay, I take it back. You do know everything about guns.
No, I don't! I don't know everything about guns! I got an AK-40... I got an AK-74 and I'm itching to use it.
You keep on accidentally calling it the AK-47.
Yeah, I'm not a huge AK fanboy, so it doesn't really matter to me.
It's an AK number, who cares?
Yeah, it's an AK. I got an AK and I'm itching to use it.
I also have an Alaska.
You get a lot of people that get all bent out of shape when you start calling them, like, when you refer to an AKM as an AK-47. They're like, oh, actually, there's a difference because the AK-47 is a milled receiver and the AKM is a stamped sheet metal receiver, and technically that one's a post-57 AK-47. It's just like, shut up, okay? Nobody cares.
So, is it the AK-47 because it was the 47th patent?
No, it's the AK-47 because that's when I entered service. And technically, anything that is like this one, that's a stamped sheet metal receiver, that would make it an AKM, except that it's not an AKM because it's M545 by 39. So, whatever. Oh, we gotta go to the Ironworks. I was following my compass and I realized I went the wrong way because I started ranting about guns.
Yeah!
Adventures! Was that an adventure?
That was negligent discharging of your weapon.
That was me shooting. I wasn't a negligent discharge. I did it on purpose. I shot the rock on purpose.
Yes, and it's very negligent of you.
Not negligent. I did it on purpose.
I know. I'm not saying it's...
I know what's behind my target.
Did I say accidental? I don't think I did. It's intentional negligence.
There wasn't negligent, though. I knew what I was doing. I can see the rock. I can see what's behind it. Yeah. I intended to destroy the rock.
And it could... You don't think maybe the bullet could ricochet off of it?
No! Of course not!
Ricochets don't exist?
No, I was using frangibles.
Flechet rounds?
No, frangibles are... It's usually like a copper jacket with, like, powdered lead on the inside of it.
Full copper jacket.
It's still a jacket, but then the moment it hits anything, the bullet basically just disintegrates.
Hooray! I learned things about guns, and you learned things about English.
Joke's on you! I didn't learn anything about English! Woo! When did I get this? It looks like some kind of AK. Maybe an AK-12?
I don't even think AKs go that low.
They do. AK-400.
Significantly more than what you said.
The rear sight is odd in that it's mounted to the rail system, and also it looks like it's based on an RPK rear sight.
It kind of looks like an M16 or an M4.
No, it does not look like an M16 or an M4. You see how the top cover looks like the little Fast Freddy silhouette? That's how you definitely know that it's an AK.
Just like in the M16.
No, not like in the M16. It also apparently has a side-folding stock, and I see a 1 on there, which leads me to believe it's got a collapsing M4 stock on it. Where'd it go?
Oh, it's gone forever now.
Oh, God. Seriously?
No, it's here.
Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, it's just a modified AK. That looks kind of like an ergo grip that's on there. That looks kind of like an ergo stock, but it does have a collapsing M4-style stock on it.
Told you!
That muzzle device is different. It looks like a modified AK-74 muzzle device. It has an adjustable gas system, too. That's interesting.
Is that useful for anything?
Adjustable gas systems are useful if the weapon gets fouled, because then you just set it on the adverse settings. It's also useful if the weapon gets, like, muddy or dirty, and if you're running some kind of suppressor on the front of it, you might want lower gas pressure.
Just like in the M16.
No, Mike, it's not like in the M16 doesn't have an adjustable gas system. It's direct impingement.
Nothing can stand up to the M16 you're wielding.
It's not an M16. It's an AK-400.
It's a fantasy rifle, right?
I don't know. There might be an AK-400. There's so many different AKs. There's like the AK-101, the AK-112, the AK-12, the AN-94. There's too many different ones. I can't remember all of them.
It disintegrated. I don't think you did that with ballistics.
Whoa! Trench shotgun?
Didn't seem to help that guy.
At least the shotgun fared better than he did.
But I don't know if it's going to be useful against robots. So
this is not a trench shotgun. This is a Winchester 1887, and the Winchester 1897 was the trench gun.
But wouldn't any shotgun that gets thrown in a trench be, by definition?
Yes, by definition, it will be a trench shotgun, but the one everybody calls the trench gun is a Winchester 1897. This is a Winchester 1887. You can tell it because it's a lever-action shotgun. The other one is a pump-action shotgun.
So it's deceptive marketing.
I got this thing. What the hell is this?
Yeah, happy birthday. It's a gun.
Happy birthday to me. This looks like a Daewoo.
I don't know what a Daewoo is. It sounds Japanese.
Or well, no, Daewoo is Korean. It's either a Daewoo or it's a Japanese, right? It looks like it's got a chrysanthemum on it.
It looks like it's got a samurai helmet on the sight.
It looks like the Japanese muzzle brake on like the Type 103 or something.
I believe it is a Type, yes.
Well, I mean, because that definitely looks like Japanese characters on the selector.
Yeah.
I can see a 3, and then one I'm assuming is safe, one is probably semi, one is 3-round burst, and one is full.
Oh, it's probably what the 3 is, 3-round burst.
Yeah. Got those sights there. There's a big hole for where the charging handle should go through because it's a reciprocating charging handle. That straight-ish magazine leads me to believe it's 5.56. It's either a Daewoo K1 or it's the Japanese Type, I think it's like a 103 or something.
How familiar are you with Japanese assault rifles?
Not super familiar because they don't really exist outside of Japan.
Japan not known as a huge weapons exporter.
No, they don't really make a whole lot of guns for export. Actually, a lot of Browning guns are made in Japan and then sold in the US. So a lot of Browning bolt-action rifles are made by a company called Miroku in Japan.
I was unaware.
Anyway, I think it's like the Type 103, maybe Type 94, but Type 94 might be the Chinese rifle.
You're pretty close.
Type 89!
That's that, all right.
Let's take a look. Where'd it go?
Where'd you drop it?
I dropped it and it just oh, it launched all the way over here.
All right. Well, what are those rubber rifles? Yep, they bounce a lot.
Yeah, so that's a Type 89. It's the Japanese standard issue rifle, and the first thing that indicated that to me was the muzzle brake.
Is that a distinct muzzle brake?
Yeah, that's a very distinctive muzzle brake that the Type 89 is like one of the only guns that uses. And I just couldn't remember because I have too many gun numbers in my head
Yeah.
and they get confused. And it's not one that I see on a daily basis. I think it entered service in like mid to late 80s, hence the Type 89.
Oh, they didn't go through 88 previous types to get to it?
No, I think the Japanese do the year it entered service or something along those lines, because the reason this throws me off is there's actually a few guns that are slightly different. Like there's one that's the SIG SP-2022, which is a handgun, and the only reason it's called the SP-2022 is not because that's when it entered service, it's when it was projected to exit service.
We've already been over this. There are no standard naming conventions.
No, there aren't. There's so many different ones. But anyway, yeah, that muzzle brake is very distinctive to the Japanese rifle. I believe there's a company, I think it's JP Enterprises. They make what's called the, or it might be the Type 89 muzzle device, but you can buy one of those muzzle devices for your AR-15.
Well, I've never heard of this particular rifle before, but it's got to be pretty reliable. I mean, look at all those holes in it.
That doesn't make it more reliable, Mike.
You're right, it doesn't, but it does make it go faster.
Anyway, it's a really cool looking rifle, and I kind of wish that I could actually get my hands on one in person, but this is probably as close as I'll ever get to that.
So we just enjoy it, as well as this other shotgun I got you.
Ooh, what is it?
The WA-101 Tactical Shotgun.
Alright, so what do we got here? We have the foregrip of a Thompson submachine gun. We have the sights of a Thompson submachine gun. We have the bolt mechanism of what looks to be modeled after a Remington 1100. It's got Picatinny rails on the sides and top of it, a muzzle device that doesn't really make any sense, a magazine that doesn't really go to it, the back of some type of pump action or semi-automatic shotgun, along with the stock from an FN rifle. So it's just made out of a bunch of different stuff.
It's also got a weird-looking magazine.
Yeah, the magazine looks like they took a BAR mag and just modified it.
It's got to be based on a real shotgun, right?
The receiver looks like it's modeled after a Remington 1100. Or just some semi-auto shotgun.
Sure.
Other than that, no, it's not really modeled after any real shotgun.
You're saying this is an imaginary hodgepodge?
Yeah, it's an imaginary hodgepodge of parts. It looks like it was kit bashed.
Kit bashed?
Yeah.
Like someone assembled a bunch of different parts together?
Yeah, they just took parts from different kits and slapped them all together and made it look like this thing. What caliber is this?
12 gauge?
I guess it could be 12 gauge, but that barrel does not look big enough to be 12 gauge. I can generally fit most of my thumb into a 12 gauge barrel, and I don't think I could fit most of my thumb into that. It looks like it'd be a 410 gauge. It says it's 12 gauge, which, unrelated note, I have 666 extra 12 gauge rounds.
Right.
666, the number of the beast. 666.
Maybe it's not your standard 12 gauge round. Maybe it's 12 by 19 parabellum rounds.
God, shut up. Whatever. Mike, you need to know that if you get 3 gun nerds together, the only thing that they will agree on is that one of them is wrong. So now that you have two of us here, we're just gonna be bickering back and forth as to which weapon system is better.
What do you mean, two? Are you not including me in that grouping?
You're not a gun nerd.
How dare you? I have learned so much in our travels.
Uh-huh. Alright.
Ask me any question about guns. I will answer it.
What's your favorite gun?
I like the M16A4, which is very similar to the M16A2 I am familiar with, but a bit better, shorter, more practical.
It's not any shorter. The M16A4 is the exact same length as the A2.
Sorry, yes. The M4 is the one that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
See, I know what I'm talking about.
Alright, fine.
As long as you don't ask me anything about anything besides those three guns.
What's your favorite handgun?
The Beretta 92F.
That's because that's the only one you know!
No, I also know about the Colt 45.
What's your third favorite handgun?
The Mosin Nagant.
That's not a handgun.
The compact version.
Oh my god. That's not a handgun.
If you saw off the stock...
No, then it becomes an Obrez, and they're a nightmare. You're shooting... An Obrez is a Mosin Nagant that the barrel's been cut down to like 4 inches long.
I didn't say barrel, I said stock.
The barrel has been cut down to 4 inches long, and they completely removed the stock. So you're now shooting 7.62 by 54R, which is like 5 inches long. You're shooting that out of something that has like a 4-inch barrel. So it's just a fireball the size of you coming out of the end of the gun.
Yeah, who needs shoulders?
What the hell is that?
It's my third favorite pistol.
Oh my god. You found an Obrez?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? You're gonna make us all go deaf the moment you shoot that thing. You know what knife I really want?
A Bowie knife?
No, there's a knife that Spetsnaz had that shoots a 7.62 round out of the base of it.
That's not a knife, that's a bladed gun.
No, it's a knife. It just has a very short range gun built into it.
So, it's got a gun built into it.
Yeah, it's a knife with a gun that technically... So it is kind of a bad idea because you do kind of have to point the knife at your own face in order to aim it. And if you're not careful with a recoil, you will just stab yourself in the face. So that is kind of a bad idea. But I want it because it's mechanically interesting and cool.
I don't like the fact that you have to shove a blade in your eye to look down the sight.
You don't shove the blade in your eye, you hold it out in front of you with the blade pointed backwards. You know, you want to extend your arm. You don't want to, like, point the blade against your cheek.
Yes.
You're not trying to get a good cheek weld with it. Hey, look, I got a GSH-18.
Joachim had a special handgun.
Yeah, he had a weird Russian handgun.
Ooh, what? That's really weird looking.
So yeah, it's the GSH-18. It's kind of funny that the ejection port is once again on the top of it.
So hot lead shoots out the top.
Yeah, but if you look at the front of the barrel, you can see how it's got like those weird little lines on it.
Mm-hmm. Ridges.
Yeah, the barrel's like finned. I can't remember if it's a rotating lug barrel or not, which would be just really strange in and of itself. I don't know a whole lot about this because I've only like casually researched it. I haven't done a lot of research.
This is not one of the ones you're privy to.
No, not really. And like I only casually researched it because I'm never going to be able to own one. So, I mean, as far as I know, they work decently well. They really only issue them to like certain troops in Russia. There's not a whole lot of people that get them. The reason for the ridges on the top are, one, so it gives you something extra to grip on when you have to pull the slide backwards.
Mm-hmm.
The other reason is by putting ridges on the top, when you have sun beating down on the gun, it reduces... Thank you, Mike. It reduces the glare that you get from the iron sights.
Oh, that makes sense.
So you don't get as much sunlight reflecting off the top of your slide and, like, washing out your iron sights, making them harder to see.
Seems like there would be benefits, but at the same time, those ridges would probably make it a bit more of a pain to clean.
Not really. You just kind of scrub it with a toothbrush or whatever.
Well, if it's so convenient and useful, why don't all guns have those ridges?
Because it increases manufacturing costs. You have to spend time to machine every one of those notches out. Yeah, I wish I could tell you more about this because I honestly don't really know a whole lot about it.
I thought your mind was a endless encyclopedia, a vacuum of knowledge.
I know that it's a 9mm pistol. I know it's from Russia. I know that they're not exactly standard issue, but they are issued to the Russian military.
Can you believe this guy, Elias, doesn't know everything about every gun ever made?
I think the top of it is actually like a little loaded chamber indicator and like pops up a little bit, which it's not doing on this one because they can't really model complex guns like that.
What does KS stand for?
It stands for Carbine Special, so Special Purpose Carbine.
Oh, okay. But where did the 21 come from?
The The 23, it comes from the millimeters of the barrel. Because like I said, the barrel for this is just from an anti-aircraft cannon that didn't meet specifications.
Is this one of those Russian weapons that's hodgepodge together?
I don't know. I know the barrel definitely is. They were like, well, the barrel can't handle the high pressure of an anti-aircraft cartridge, but it definitely can handle the pressure of a low-velocity grenade.
So we'll just take this anti-tank cannon and make it a pea shooter.
Yeah, we'll take this anti-tank cannon and make it fire grenades, and also buckshot, and less lethal cartridges. Though, to be fair, I think the Russian less lethal cartridges are more... It's still very lethal and will hurt very, very badly. And it might not kill you, but it also might kill you.
Yes. You were really excited when you found this gun.
Yeah.
You like the novelty of it, or is it a good gun?
I like the novelty of it. I just think it's really cool having a shotgun that's a 23 millimeter barrel.
Right. I wouldn't imagine it to be a good gun if it's, with the history that it has.
Well, I mean, it's not bad. It's like a good... So you know the grenade launcher I normally use?
Yeah.
Basically the same thing, only...
It looks like a shotgun.
Only heavier rifling and slightly smaller.
It looks like a sawn-off shotgun.
Yeah, it does. They also make a wire stock for it, which I've heard is not fun to shoot.
Well, if this thing has that much kickback, you're just jamming wires into your shoulder when you fire it.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of wire side-folding stocks anyway, because it is like trying to shoot with a chunk of rebar stuck to your face. So it's not exactly pleasurable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am super interested in this, and this might be real fun to use.
All right, I look forward to it.
Kind of wish I had some shotgun shells for it, though, because I would like to just unload a 23 millimeter shotgun shell onto something. It's not going to be good for long range, but man, 23 millimeters of shotgun shell hitting somebody from 4 feet away.
Is that a Glock?
Yep, that is a Glock.
Yeah.
That is 100% a Glock. I can tell by the takedown levers that are right there, but in front of the trigger. He's got a Glock as well. Yes. See, that is a Glock 18. I can tell by the selector lever right there.
Of course you can.
That is a Glock 18 because Glock 17s do not have that selector lever. Oh, it's not full auto though.
It's a semi-auto Glock.
9mm compact pistol.
Ooh, that one's got a green glow sight.
Yeah, which Glock sights don't actually glow like this, but, whatever, it's cool. I can tell it's the Glock 18C because you can see the cutouts on the top of the slide right behind the front sight, and it looks like there's small cutouts on the barrel.
I bet you that we can take these weapons without murdering these guys.
Oh, probably, but I mean, I don't really need it.
You got a Glock 17 and a Glock 18 then.
They're both modeled after a Glock 18. This one would be the Glock 18C, which is the compensated fully automatic Glock, or select fire. This one would be a Glock... Well, it technically wouldn't exist because it's a fully automatic version of a 10mm Glock, which I think is the 21.
Is this one fully automatic?
Well, it's got the full automatic lever on it. There are Glock numbers from 17 until 48.
What, they skip 1 through 16?
Glocks are named after what patent number they were. So 17 was the Glock company's 17th patent. The Glock 18 is the fully automatic one because it was their 18th patent. The Glock 19 is a compact 9mm, and it was their 19th patent.
I've heard of the Glock before.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they so popular?
Because they're relatively inexpensive for an incredibly reliable and robust and well-made handgun.
They're that good, huh?
Yeah, they're very, very good handguns. They're often referred to as America's handgun, despite the fact that they're Austrian. A lot of police departments use Glocks. Usually police departments were, for the longest time, using them in 40 Smith & Wesson, or as I like to call it, 40 short and weak, or 10mm short.
How do you really feel about that caliber?
I don't like 40 Smith & Wesson. It's completely pointless. I didn't like 40 Smith & Wesson even when it was popular. I thought it was dumb.
But you always like to hate on popular things. That's nothing new.
40 Smith & Wesson was originally designed because in the 1980s, the FBI wanted to move away from 9mm. The FBI at the time was using 9mm handguns, but they were just using full metal jacket rounds. Only special units were allowed to use hollow point bullets.
Okay.
So the FBI wanted a round with more, quote, stopping power, which is not a real thing. They wanted a round
What do you
with...
mean it's not a real thing?
Stopping power is not a real thing. That's not a quantifiable measurement.
It'll stop it in the sense that it'll be dead.
Stopping power is not a quantifiable thing.
Okay.
The FBI wanted a round with more kinetic energy behind it. So they had 10 mil designed. 1mm larger than 9mm, but it's got a whole fuck ton more powder behind it.
Oh, okay.
It's got a lot of powder behind it, so those rounds are just coming out of there real fast.
They've got all these different calibers of bullet. 9mm, 10mm, 11mm, etc., etc. And it doesn't really matter what the size of the bullet is. All that matters is the amount of powder behind it.
To a point, yeah. Because there's a rifle that's in 22-250, which you think, oh, 22, that's tiny. Well, yes, the bullet is real tiny, but it's got like 30 times the amount of powder behind it that the bullet weighs.
Well, now I'm even angrier that there are so many calibers.
Man, you don't even know. There's so many freaking calibers. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, I just learned about a new one today. 545.
Yeah, 545. It's the Russian version.
So how many guns, besides her Type 91, use that?
545, there's a bunch of different guns, but the most common one is the AK-74.
That uses 7...
Nope. The AK-47 uses 7.62x39. The AK-74 uses 5.45x39.
Ooh, you're throwing numbers at me, and it's making me angry.
They did that because the Russians wanted a bullet that had better armor or barrier penetration. Mm-hmm. And 7.62 has too much kinetic energy behind it, so it has a tendency to dump all of its kinetic energy into something instead of trying to punch through it.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. The FBI wanted a round with more kinetic energy behind it. So, gun manufacturers came up with the 10mm cartridge, and they sold it to the FBI. The FBI got a bunch of different 1911 styled handguns in 10mm, and then shortly after adopting it went, this has too much recoil, we don't want it anymore. So Smith & Wesson made 40 Smith & Wesson. It's a 10mm bullet with less powder behind it.
Okay, so it's a weaker 10mm.
That's why I refer to it as 40 short and weak, as opposed to 10mm, which is just a frickin' screamer of a cartridge.
But why did they have to call it 40 Smith & Wesson?
Because Smith & Wesson designed it. And Smith & Wesson, we ain't using no millimeters on our guns. We use caliber like real Americans.
We like to put our name in the name of our bullet caliber because we're a bunch of assholes. No one else did that, but we're doing it.
Because the FBI had adopted the 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge, a bunch of police departments started adopting the 40 Smith & Wesson cartridge because we want the same caliber that the FBI is using, because look how cool the FBI is. And at the time, a lot of police departments were still carrying like 38 special revolvers. So at the time, 40 Smith & Wesson was not a bad option, because what 40 Smith & Wesson got you was more kinetic energy than 9mm, not as much as 45 ACP, but you get more capacity than 45 ACP. So 40 Smith & Wesson was this nice little happy medium right in between 9mm, which gave you a lot of capacity, but not a lot of stopping power, and 45, which gave you a lot of stopping power, but not a lot of capacity.
Okay.
So 40 Smith & Wesson sat right in the middle there.
I'm juggling a lot of information here.
That ended up becoming a problem because it turned out that 40 Smith & Wesson, it didn't offer that much more of a benefit to 9mm. They found in recent ballistics tests that 40 Smith & Wesson has roughly the same kinetic energy behind it as 9mm. Maybe a little bit more, but not much.
Where are we going with this information? What's the overall point you're trying to make here?
Man, I don't know. I completely I lost the forest for the trees there. You got me talking about gun stuff, and I lost the forest for the trees.
We were talking about the differences in the variations of Glocks, and then you started talking about 40 Smith & Wesson ammo types and the history of military.
Yeah, man. Holy shit. Wow. I just like blacked out for a second there. I'm sorry. I just went into like gun store rant.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm sorry, dude. Oh god, I feel real bad now. I just wasted like 20 minutes of your time.
I let you keep going. I learned something new. I learned some new things, so it's not a waste of my time.
Anyway, okay, so no, it's because I said that I wasn't a big fan of 40 Smith & Wesson. That's why I went into this whole fucking tangent. Anyway, ballistics have improved substantially in the last like 20 years. 9mm hollow points now have just as much, if not more, kinetic energy behind them.
Just gonna add more gunpowder.
Than a 40 Smith & Wesson. 40 Smith & Wesson doesn't really serve a purpose anymore, to the point that most police departments are actually getting away from 40 Smith & Wesson and going back to 9mm.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I knew that there were different types of 9mm ammo.
Mm-hmm.
There was 9x17, 9x18, 9x19 Makarov.
9x21.
I believed that the differences in these types of bullets was the size of the cartridge that it came in.
The case length, yeah.
Yeah, the case length.
For the most part, you're right, yeah.
Does the difference in powder affect it?
Yes, you can use different types of powder. I am terrible with remembering powder types, but you can get different types of powder that burn faster or burn hotter, and that will cause the bullet to exit the gun faster because you're causing a bigger explosion on the inside of the gun.
Are there bullet calibers that are the same bullet size, the same cartridge length, but different powders? And can these similar bullets of varying powders be fired out of the same gun?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not like putting a 9x19 parabellum round in your Makarov.
That would not be good for the gun.
But the differences in the powder don't matter as much.
No, that's what plus P ammo is.
Oh.
Plus P ammo is just a 9mm bullet with more or hotter burning powder behind it.
You know what? When you tell me about overpressure ammo, for some reason, for the longest time, my mind always imagined some kind of pneumatic pressurized system in the bullet. I didn't really put two and two together. It's just more powder.
It's just more powder, yeah.
It's not a pressurized cartridge.
No. I'm glad that you understand that now.
We were supposed to be doing missions for this guy, and instead we shut up a casino and talked about guns for half an hour.
Oh my god, yeah. What the hell? I am seriously sorry that I just went on that huge gun rant, though, because, like, that was not my intention. Look, there's a Glock right over there.
Your eyes glossed over, you couldn't stop.
No, my eyes glazed over. It was just, I was in a fugue state. I have no memory of that. I can't be held accountable for it in court.
Your eyelids closed, text started scrolling, and you were reading the Wikipedia articles.
In my brain, because I just downloaded things to my brain now.
Yes, the memory bank.
It's just Johnny Mnemonic up in here. Did you ever see that movie again?
No, I haven't.